right, so I am Lisa Kelly. I am our head of product web and cloud. So that means I oversee the product development of the Ivion platform, which also includes our NavVis cloud, as well as our cloud processing add-on that I'm going to talk to you about today. So first, what is the NavVis cloud processing for Ivion? It is our fast and easy-to-use web-based UI for post-processing. So similar to other processing devices, the NavVis M6 and the NavVis VLX have a step after mapping called post-processing. This post-processing generates the point cloud and then colors it. It stitches together the 365-degree panoramic images from the camera images. And if you use control points, it then aligns your data together in order to be able to have your full model there. We have always had best-in-class post-processing algorithms, but with our cloud processing UI, we really took the workflow to the next level. Previously, our workflow was a little bit cumbersome. It required provisioning Linux machines, pulling updates from the Ubuntu repository, and at times using the command line in order to be able to configure your processing settings. Now, with the cloud processing add-on, you have all of this in a nice, easy-to-use UI, and with the power of cloud computing behind it. So before I go any further, I'm going to show you just a quick video so you can see what exactly the cloud processing add-on is. There. Perfect. So at NavVis, we've always been looking at what is the future of post-processing. And here, what I want to talk to you about today is the cloud processing add-on for NavVis Ivion, formerly known as NavVis Indoor Viewer. Some of you may still know it as Indoor Viewer. As you can see here, this is a mapping being done with our NavVis VLX. There are quite a few of them running around if you want to try one out. The VLX was designed for flexibility, for versatility, and for speed, and we want the exact same thing out of all of our software. So our post-processing add-on is meant to be as flexible and easy to use as our hardware. With a simple connection to the internet, you're able to start uploading your data and start your post-processing. You don't need to wait till you're back in the office. It's as simple as dragging, dropping your data, and then once the data is in there, you can already start configuring the processing settings. You do not need to wait for your data to be fully uploaded in order to do so. Once you go in, you would create a processing task. You'd name it and then select the data sets you want to use. More is always better with cloud processing because we can parallel process that. You can set the resolution, and as well, you can set who gets notified when there are updates to your processing. Once you're done, you hit run, and then we'll give you the overview of everything you've selected and a preview of how long we anticipate the processing to take so you don't have to keep checking in and wondering. Then that's it. You're done. You can go back to doing whatever is most interesting to you, and the right people will get notified as soon as the processing completes. Once the processing completes, you go right back into NavVis Ivion, and you're able to then see your data. Best news, because you're already in Ivion, you're able to quickly do your quality assurance on the data, as well as start visualizing and using it right away without needing to then transfer the data to another tool. So this was a really quick run through, but I think the key points to highlight are it's as easy as connect to the internet, drag and drop your data, configure your settings, and then wait for the email saying it's ready to go. This allows you to really focus on tasks that need your full attention, not worrying about how long will it take for the post-processing to complete. So before I go kind of deeper into the overall post-processing, I would like just to talk a little bit about why we at NavVis are so invested in the cloud for reality capture solutions. The cloud has been around a while, and I won't talk about all of these, but I think some of these points are really relevant to us in our industry. First off, I'm going to hit on reliability. The world's data is already in a lot of different cloud solutions. Most software we're already using both personally and professionally. And this is because it is available 24/7, always there for you. No one needs to worry about having their own hardware there. And if you want to take kind of the most extreme example of reliability, people are actually trusting Amazon, who also provides our web services, to bring them actually into outer space. I think this is as reliable as it can be versus having me run my own server in my own closet in my office. I'll talk a bit more about security in general, but I will do that in the next slide. First, scalability. We've seen really good uptick in terms of people wanting to use our cloud processing add-on. And because of that, it allows them to scale really quickly with their business. When you, as a laser scanning professional, are having more and more projects, you don't want to be spending your time buying new hardwares, getting more servers. This cost and expense of that takes away from you spending time actually doing what you want to be doing, which is providing your customers with the end product. So with the cloud, we're able to scale infinitely to be able to have as many processings running at once. You don't need to worry about having enough hardware. And this is all because with cloud hosting, this is available and ready to use on an on-demand way. And then the last point I'll hit on this side is the flexibility of the cloud. So we at NavVis love being able to use these services because we can spend our development time focusing on improving our SLAM algorithms or adding new features to Ivion and not focusing on what sort of hardware is available for us to run this. Now, Amazon provides us with all the different services we need, also in the locations we are interested in. So we have data right now in Frankfurt, but we can very easily have it whether it's in Hong Kong or the US as well. And this is all because of the flexibility of this shared infrastructure. So I want to hit quickly on security. So I think it's always a topic. And I think some of our, some of the players out there have maybe made it a bit, a bit harder to understand how cloud can benefit you because they say things like you need to pay for your downloaded data or your data becomes their data. That is not our approach at NavVis. Your data is always your data. You have full control of your data, where it's uploaded to, who can view it, when it gets deleted. We don't have any access to your data, and as well, we make sure that the only time we would ever even delete anything would be after you've already deleted your instance. We make sure that everything is also cleaned up so you can be confident that none of your data is anything but within your control. And this is part of a bigger philosophy we have in general. So some of you may have seen Felix, our CEO, running around this morning. He has always instilled in us the value of data security. We know that these indoor spaces can have very secure and private information on them. So we treat all of our data with the highest level of security. We've recently had our TSOX certification, the ISO 27001. As well, we do 4 times a year penetration tests by an external company into all of our different software products to ensure we don't have any vulnerabilities. And we code to the latest OAuth security standards to ensure that we ourselves are holding up the end of the most secure software around. And this isn't because we have to. It's really because we want to. It's very much a mindset at NavVis that we want to make sure that we're providing you with the most secure solutions. So I'm going to go back to now the cloud processing add-on, which is I think why we're all here today. There are a lot of great reasons and value that we've already seen from it, but I'm going to go first with the wherever, whenever concept. This has really been a game changer for many of our customers because they're no longer tied to the server in their office to have to physically come plug in a USB stick or an SSD. You can start uploading as soon as you have an internet connection. So if you're scanning on the road for multiple days, you can do this at night. You can even do it over, cellular if you have a good enough cellular connection. And it's also smart enough to know if there's a disruption in your upload service, we don't lose any of that data. As soon as you're reconnected, it keeps going. Via the UI, you're able to monitor and obviously get notified as well when you have any updates to your processing. This comes via email and really makes you independent from needing to be back in the office once you have your project, so you can deliver your data to your end customer that much earlier. Speaking of speed, the parallel processing that I mentioned earlier is a huge game changer for, I think, all post-processing software. Traditionally, post-processing happens in a sequential way, where each data set needs to be processed in a specific order, especially if you're using control points to make sure that all aligns together. With the cloud processing add-on, it will only ever take as long as your biggest data set takes. So if I have 3 or 4 data sets, that doesn't matter, because as long as I have one of them, say it's in 8 hours to process, all of them will be done in 8 hours. Whereas in the past, if you had 8 times 4, that would actually be 32 hours of processing. And this is a huge time saver for you to be able to save those 24 hours for doing other things. And then it's not even only faster, it's actually more accurate. We're able to do a lot of early detection and warning to make sure you're not spending your time wondering what's going on with your post-processing. Anyone familiar with mobile mapping knows that sometimes SLAM can cause some issues or irregularities. If you use control points, those can also get renamed or misnamed or mislabeled. We're able to detect those things without you even knowing. So before your post-processing starts, we will detect if you have potentially an issue that could cause some drift in your point cloud. We'll let you know if there's something that looks off with your control points, so then you're not wasting your time wondering what's going on and why things aren't processing out the way you can go. Additionally, we're always able to make sure that you are as reliable as possible with the product because we have always the latest version of our software running. You don't need to wait and take the time to update your software. We can instantly update it, ensure you have the latest features, the latest fixes, so it's as secure as we can possibly make it. Additionally, we're able to run monitoring on this so that if there is, for some reason, an issue, we are instantly notified and we can make sure that you don't lose any of your business time waiting for different services or issues to go on. So I just gave you a lot of words about the cloud processing add-on. Now I'm going to give you some numbers. So we launched the cloud processing add-on little less than 11 months ago, so end of November last year. Since then, we've already had more than 56 million square meters processed with it. This is just by customers. Obviously, we use it ourselves, but we took that data out there. It's been more than 16,000 data sets that are making it up. And those were broken up into 5,400 processing tasks. So as you can see, people are already understanding the value of putting more than one data set in one processing task to ensure you get the maximum speed. So these numbers are nice and they look good, but what does it actually mean in terms of time saving? So I mentioned before that when we do multiple data set processing, you only have to do it for the longest single data set. So let's just say for easy math, you do 3 data sets per task. If each of those data sets would take about 6 hours to process, which is about 45 minutes of mapping at a 1 centimeter resolution or around a half an hour mapping at 5 millimeter, you would normally spend 18 hours of post-processing time. With the cloud processing add-on, it's only 6 hours. If you then extrapolate that all the way out to 16,000 data sets, this ends up with it being 64,000 hours saved from the cloud processing add-on, which I didn't even know what that meant, so I turned it into days and then years. So in less than 11 months, we have saved 7.3 years of processing time for our customers. I think it's amazing to see, and also this only assumes 3 data sets per processing task. Last week, I was actually talking to one of our customers who had 199 data sets, all within one processing task. Bigger than I would expect anyone to do. But I did that math, and had they needed to process this all at once, it would have taken them 42 days. I don't think anyone has the ability to wait 42 days to turn around a project for one of their customers, even if it is 199 data sets big. So I have a few different slides that have lots and lots of customer quotes on it, but I wanted to just kind of nail in on 2 because I think they're the most important to my product philosophy. One is really the time saver. How do we enable you to spend your time focusing on the tasks only you can do? And then we can help and make sure the processing is running smoothly. And then also the doing it from anywhere. So the flexibility of any location, again, doesn't tie you back to your desk. And then David from Cognica also mentioned that it's really about the experience. We want to make sure that the user experience of our NavVis software is as enjoyable to use as anything you would use in your private life. I know what the other tools are you're using and how many advanced menus you have and how kind of complex they can be. We want the cloud processing product to be as simple as drag and drop, select, configure, and then wait. And this is something we really have been happy to see the results of how it's come out in this product. So before I wrap it up, I think there's also kind of, always what's to come. The power of the cloud gives us lots of opportunities. Most recently, you might have seen we came out with some updates to our cloud processing add-on to support global coordinates. So this allows you to geo-register all your control points globally as well, working especially well in outdoor use cases. But we're also spending a lot of our times looking at things like how do we help you comply with GDPR? What are some of the automatic face and person detection we can do? Automatic blurring of people and images. We're looking at object recognition and object detection to be able to do automatic labeling. As well, we are mainly fine-tuning all of our algorithms to run as fast as possible and with as few issues as possible so that you don't even need to worry. And we've been saying kind of all along, and if anyone saw our CTO Georg speak yesterday, he believes the future of reality capture is really in these incremental changes in the software around it. And we at NavVis are really focused on what we can do to make sure that software is driving forward, to make sure the best reality capture experience happens with NavVis. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions, or I'm sure any of us would be happy to give you a demo of the product as well if you're interested. But thank you.